What is something that when you guys were kids, you found yourself doing a lot of? Me personally, sure, it was video games and all that, but something that I did just naturally have an innate gravitation toward was I liked paper and pencils and pens. I genuinely liked to write. My favorite thing about being in school was always to write. Just the act, the physical action of writing always fascinated me. I liked the smell of fresh paper. I liked the smell of ink freshly out of my pen. But writing with pen was kind of a luxury for me when I was a kid. It wasn't something that I did often, and it wasn't encouraged very much. But I also did enjoy, of course, writing with mechanical pencils and wooden pencils. Of course, freshly sharpened pencil was another one of my favorite things. But something I also did a lot, especially since I was by myself so much, was that I would come up with stories. I was a storyteller. I may not have verbally spoken a lot, but I like to use my imagination a lot. With my toys and things, I was always creating stories about my characters. Even if I have, say, a character from a specific franchise, like say Dragon Ball Z, as opposed to, say, using my Vegeta action figure and associating him as a Vegeta Dragon Ball Z character for what Vegeta is known to be, I would take Vegeta, his action figure, and I would give him a different name. I might have called him Michael and be like, okay, Michael today is going to be a construction worker, something like that. I always had an imagination for that stuff, and I vividly remember to this day this doodle that I made on one of my notebooks. It was about Cyclops from X-Men, but I accidentally had like a handwritten typo, and I accidentally wrote Cypop instead of Cyclops. Somehow I was writing really fast, and then I just ended up tracing a P instead of a C and an L. Unfortunately for me, back in the day, that wasn't something I could really do a lot because my mom discouraged waste. I couldn't really have my own personal notebooks to do that. Paper for school, like, you know, college ruled paper, that was special paper for me. It's like papers for projects and things. Graph paper, even more so, since it cost a little more. And the reason I think about this topic is because we all knew that my brother, for example, he would make anything fly. He always loved planes. He always wanted to be a pilot. He always wanted to be on the simulator on the computer. And we just knew that he was going to be a freaking pilot. He was going to put wings on anything. My mom had this joke about how my brother could take a cockroach, rip its wings, and then probably tape them to a pencil and call it a plane. Something like that. You know, anything that had wings, he would be into. And if it didn't have wings, he would create them, he would make them. And Legos, anytime he played with Legos, he was always making freaking planes. But with me, when I think about it, when I think back to my childhood, outside of video games, there really wasn't anything that I just did. The older I got, especially toward middle school, and even more especially in high school, our teachers kept warning us that there's gonna be a lot of writing in middle school, and then high school, and in college even more, and everybody would be grossed out by the thought and the idea of having to write so much. And I was like, hell yeah, praise the Lord, thank God I get to write. I don't know, but I never had a passion like my brother did. I liked cars, but I can't say that I loved them quite like I do now, where I'm pretty serious about cars in general. Just you know, the great pride I take in driving and all that. But it's not like I'm at my brother's level the way he is with planes. He's been able to fly a plane since he was like 12. So for me, the only talent I guess I had was I was always a quick thinker. I was just witty like that. I wasn't really crafty. I wasn't an athlete. I just wasn't anything really, but I did like to tell stories. And to this day, I still do. I can sit for hours. You guys have seen my streams. Like, if it were not for like needs such as needing to go to the bathroom or something, I could do a stream for like 12 hours straight. Maybe one day I'll challenge myself and try that. I can keep going. Nothing stops me. So yeah, what did you guys used to do? Because maybe one of you guys will mention something and I'll realize that that was like a hidden passion that I just forgot about. I've always felt lost in that regard. I'm like, sure, I like the sciences, but it's not like I want to be out there on the field. Like, there was really nothing that I could look at and be like, I can do that every day for the rest of my life and feel just as passionate about it. Nothing.